Patty, I am here today with John Shuey of the Nature Conservancy in Indianapolis at the Bracken Family Gardens at the headquarters. And John, we're here today to talk about butterflies. There was a little bit of information that came out in early February about reduced habitats for monarchs, which are, of course, a favorite of Americans all over. What does that mean when we're talking about reduced habitat, and how can people help?
Yeah, that's really about the overwintering habitat in Mexico, and it's when you see those pictures of monarchs draping the trees, they actually measure that from airplanes, and they simply measured the acreage that's covering. And unfortunately, that area decreased, which means that the population is a lot lower this year.
So you have told me previously that all monarchs in Indiana are migratory monarchs, correct?
Correct. They all have to get the heck out of Indiana during the winter or they'll freeze to death.
Right. So if Hoosiers want to be on the helping side of what monarch butterflies need, what are some suggestions for them?
Sure. Native landscaping is the way to go. And with a lot of flowers, because the adult monarchs, they need the sugar essentially to it's energy for them. It's what they eat. But then they also need milkweeds in their as a larval host plant. And so the females lay the eggs on the milkweeds, and then the caterpillars only feed on milkweeds until they're mature. So they need that. Okay.
We're probably pretty familiar with common milkweed, which has the fluffy seed heads that fly off and hopefully make more milkweeds. Are there other types of milkweed that we can use?
There are several. The most common other one is called butterfly weed, which is the orange milkweed. They all have that fluffy seed. And if you go to a good native nursery, they can give you insight into other milkweeds as well. There's one called purple milkweed, which looks a lot like common, only it's as purple as your shirt. It's just a beautiful plant.
And common milkweed, if you are not familiar with it, has a tendency to bloom kind of a pinkish color. Yes. And then it makes those big fat pods.
Yeah. I think people get discouraged when they plant them from seed because it'll take 3 to 4 years for the plants to get big enough to really start to bloom. So if you're planting from seed especially, you just have to be patient. Okay.
And in the meantime, if you're interested in seeing what native planting in Indiana looks like, that folks can come here, right?
Exactly. We have a great planting, about 150 species of native plants in this little flower garden around our office.
And I can tell you from experience that even though it looks brown and not very interesting at the moment, by the time you see this, things are already going to be coming up, right?
That's right. That'll be wonderful.
John, thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for asking.
I'm Shannon Cagle, the Weekend Gardener for Great Day TV with Patty Spittler.